Thank you so much, everyone, once again for taking the time out of your day and coming in and joining us on this presentation. Can't thank you enough for that. So with that being said, I do believe that we are good to go. Now, before I really dive into the acknowledging these topics that are going to be present today, I want to focus a piece or two of information about the organization that's really behind these acknowledgements and behind these kinds of movements. Power and Youth, and more specifically, why we want you to join the initiative. That's right, because despite being new, Power and Youth is a movement on the rise. We collaborate with multiple other organizations as we speak. We are growing bigger and bigger by the day, and we are welcoming new members as we speak. And this momentum that we gathered is owed to a consistent delivery of passionate contribution from our members and from our community. We are incredibly enthusiastic to introduce you this opportunity, and we only hope that you are just as ecstatic to take it. Because as I've said before, there is nothing that radiates a bigger change in the world than collaboration with a group of people that are just like you and working together with a common mindset. I really believe that is how major things are going to get done. So a little more info about this workshop. Figurative positivity and personal empowerment are our core fundamentals of how we work and how we operate. And our goal today in this presentation is for you to leave this workshop with awareness to recognize the signs of mental illness, social media empowerment, etc. But most importantly as well, having the skills to supportively address them. Some more information about us is that we are a student-led organization. We bring youth together to end prejudice, and we are leading various types of initiatives, like this workshop today, where we are going to be talking about body positivity and social media empowerment. And here's some info where you can find us. You can see this link, Power and Youth, on Instagram. We are on Linktree. We are most commonly active on Slack chat, and we are continuously accepting new members by the day. We are going to have some upcoming speakers later on to help us address these issues. First one is Mahalaxmi Som. She's a 10th grader at Basis DC who is passionate about mental health. She's on the debate team of Model UN and a youth health educator for a Young Women's Program. She is an organizing lead for a grassroots law project, and she is also working towards racial justice. She's going to be speaking to you through her experience as a high school student and through her experience as she's dealt with mental health counseling. Our second speaker is going to be Ciara Balanza. She's a sophomore from New York City. Just like us, she is passionate about social justice, the intersectionality of mental health advocacy. She thoroughly enjoys doing medical research and learning about neuroscience. Her passions are running and hiking. She's going to be speaking to you through her experience as an executive director at Each Mind, an organization that we are currently collaborating with. And she's going to be speaking to you through her experience in social activism. Our third and last speaker will be Nomi Duran. She's on the debate Model UN teams, a youth health educator for the Young Women's Program. She organizes the lead for grassroots law project, and she is working towards racial justice. So now on the topic of a mental mindset, it's important to address what we are aiming for, which is a positive mental mindset. But what does a positive mental mindset look like? Well, in three categories that we have separated in, it goes into mental health, body image, and self-esteem. Where mental health would be an urge to take care of yourself, a willpower to solve and look for problems with a growth mindset. You can handle upsets because you understand that not everything is perfect. And most importantly, that's okay. And this would flow into your body image because you would be comfortable with the way you look. You would know what your body needs, its necessities. You understand the importance of healthy food, and you would understand the importance of exercise. And naturally, this would incorporate itself into your self-esteem, where you would be confident, you would be capable, you have realistic expectations because you have proper respect for yourself. Importantly, positive I am or I statements bring one's awareness of strengths to light. Usually it's not verbally formed, so we never acknowledge it. So this is the overall image of what a positive mental mindset looks like. But as much as it's important to strive for a picture of the positive mental mindset, it's arguably just as important to understand what a negative mental mindset looks like. Because a negative mental mindset carries with it its common characteristic traits. For mental health, you would have a outlook that nothing ever works out. You might be a perfectionist, everything needs to be perfect. This would definitely flow into your body image where you don't like how you look, or you wish you looked like other people, and overall there's this general view that there is something wrong. And this would incorporate itself into your self-esteem, where you don't believe that you're good enough. You think other people are better than you. And naturally, these elements all serve to flow together and cloud your proper and true judgment that no one is ever perfect. And that comparing yourself to others will always be destructive because you will always feel like that you are coming up short. And with these in mind, you have to realize that body image and self-esteem directly influence each other. So if you don't like your body or part of it, it's going to be very hard to feel good about your whole self. But in contrast, the reverse would also be true, because if you understand the value that comes in valuing yourself, it becomes harder and harder to notice negative things. And it would therefore become easier to give your body the respect, the proper respect it deserves. Now, giving your body the respect it deserves can come in a variety of ways. You can find a short message that helps you feel good about yourself. You can eat well-balanced meals and exercise because it makes you feel good and strong, and it's also an indication of a positive mental mindset. You could definitely surround yourself with positive friends and family, arguably the most important one, who like you just as you are, a crucial part of treating yourself with respect. And with these ways of treating yourself with respect, you can therefore take them and use them to develop an overall image of when you decide on taking action, ways to raise your mental awareness in yourself and also in your community. The first and most common way to do it is simply just talk about it. Get involved. There's a lot of unhealthy stigma against including mental health in our conversations. And I don't just speak that as a fact because I speak from experience. I also have trouble speaking about anxiety and any social isolation issues, definitely. But conversing with others about mental health is a crucial way of learning more about mental health and its common issues. It's a vital way of paying attention to your own mental health and treating it with well-being, and the importance will encourage others to do the same. And there are so many other ways of taking action that stem so far from just talking about it. Another crucial way that we are doing right now is promoting mental well-being on our social media and in our community. Use the resources you have and demonstrate the issue of mental well-being to other people. But another way to encourage mental well-being that is just as important, another way that is something that you are doing right now, is participating in discussions and events that address mental health and address the topics associated with it, whether it's body positivity or self-esteem, just like this workshop right now. By simply being here, you are taking a fundamental step of encouraging mental well-being, or at least facing yourself into that direction. And with these ways of encouraging mental well-being, you can finally use them and formulate yourself an action plan for you or for others. An action plan can come in a variety of ways, but they normally follow this format where the first step is a test and peer test, which can be as simple as conversing with others or even just a moment of self-reflection and awareness. The second step is to identify the root of the problem. And the third step is to remove or minimize it. The fourth one would be to help yourself or others embrace your current self incredibly important. And the fifth step, the fifth and last step, the most important one, is to make changes that you know are good for you and not for anyone else. This is incredibly important because this is your action plan. This plan is focused on your mental well-being. This structure that you are doing is revolved around you, and therefore this action plan or the changes and impacts that you're going to be introducing from it should be focused on you because you are the priority. You could also simply keep a journal or a separate journal that marks your journey through mental health and its progression. You can even set an alarm clock so you write in it at a set time. You can start creating a schedule for yourself, and this would help you get a perspective reading back. And in this notebook, you can write the most noteworthy thing that happened in a week. Not, you don't exactly have to write a story, but a significant event that helps or hurts your mental health. Addressing things and acknowledging things is key. Now, I'm going to be straying away from the general topic of mental health and focusing on another topic that is very closely related. It's going to be social media empowerment. And I'm just going to be starting off with the fact that around 70% of women from ages 18 to 35 edit their photos before posting them on social media. And if you think this statistic just affects women, well, 50% of men do the exact same thing. And this is a huge problem because a core thing that is responsible for this effect is in the power of social media. The fundamental source of this problem is in the power of social media, and a fundamental source of social media's power lies in its influence. So this topic of social media empowerment is introducing one of the greatest tools or weapons of today's society. And I say that because social media empowerment affects our perceptions of body image, social media, and definitely that, but it has varieties of impacts that affect so much more. Because what is social media empowerment when you really look at it? What do you get when you Google empowerment? What's the definition you get? Well, empowerment is a mindset of taking control, where you would influence decisions or events around you based on what you want. You are willing to convert your intention into action based on what you want to see. And in case if you haven't realized, this definition is incredibly vague. And that's why it's so powerful, because everything online, including body images, advertisements, design, is all controlled by what people want to see. And an important thing to note here is that reasonable standards towards one's body and self-esteem do not play a role when you judge what you want to see. And the powerful varieties, the resources of technology we have today successfully help to enable us to inflict this mindset of empowerment towards ourselves. We would take control of our pictures, we take control of our personalities, and we are willing to convert them into what we want to see. This basic and vague general definition, this mindset of empowerment, converting intention into action, influencing decisions and events around us based on what we want. We are taking the energy from that mindset and we are focusing it internally. And if I'm making this sound bad, please don't be misled, because this power is extremely beneficial. Here's two examples right here, where it shows a university application form or a resume, and these serve as examples because of the nature of how we are made. Everyone is going to be different, and therefore, some people will genuinely be born with a better body, mind, or personality than you. But a key thing to realize here is that whether or not you let these unpleasant qualities stop you from success will always be your choice. Adapting to today's society will require manipulation on your part. Succeeding in today's society and tomorrow's will require empowerment and manipulation on your part. And it's not because we are greedy, it's not because we're selfish, and it's not because we're deceptive. No, It's because these steps of empowerment, of manipulation, are the necessary steps of presenting yourself in the best way possible. Now, naturally, this form of thought, this philosophy, this way of thinking would carry with it negative side effects as well. Because the unhealthy obsessions that start to apply themselves when your view of their online presence starts to connect with how you see the actual person. The absolute truth, the absolute fact is that we are all human and no one is perfect. But the job of a social media influencer is to make you forget that fundamental fact. Negative emotions arise when you start to believe the influences of social media. In short, negative influence emotions start to apply themselves onto your mindset when these social media influencers do their job too well. And what do I mean by a social media influencer? Because that can mean a lot of things. And I'm not just talking about major celebrities or, these huge people on the internet that are just objectively good in every way. No, because the influencing of online personas are absolutely everywhere. It does not have to be a major celebrity. It does not have to be a major entity. And it has never been easier today to be negatively affected by the image of any superior person in general. You can watch the news, you can listen to podcasts, listen to online posts. There will always be opportunities for other people to take advantage of the resources they have to inflict their sense of empowerment, their sense of manipulation of their appearance onto you. And be warned that the intimidation of successful people will be much more powerful than you realize. And also take note that at the same time, your opinion towards yourself and other people is more powerful than you realize. And that is why social media works so hard to influence it. Whether it's to make you like a certain person, subscribe to a certain thing, or maybe even get you to vote for a single political entity. There are benefits to be made and benefits to be uh, there are definitely benefits to be made from taking your sense of empowerment and directing it towards a certain subject. And is ignoring these influences easy? Absolutely not. It's hard. Just like many other things, it's definitely really hard because it involves transitioning yourself into a different mindset. Because one needs to realize self-respect does not involve the opinions of other people. The way you should see yourself should not be composed of what other people have their opinions about. We have always been taught to watch and analyze our fellow peers around us to learn from them. And that if we don't, we are ignorant or we don't pay attention to things. And therefore we will suffer if we don't compare ourselves with other people. But in order to actually do that, in order to actually analyze our fellow peers and compare ourselves with them, we need to admit our faults and we need to swallow our pride. Yeah, we need to do that in order to accept the fact that there will be other people who exceed us in a certain subjects. That's definitely important. But the key takeaway from this is that most importantly, we don't care. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. The ultimate solution for this struggle is to simply not care. That is the core message. But why is this style of not caring actually the solution? Well, it all comes from our patterns when we look at social media in the first place. It starts before we even turn on our phones. We don't check our phones when we are at our happiest moments. It's actually the opposite because we check it in our periods of mundanity, whenever we are bored, whenever we have nothing to do, when our lives are in a state of being uneventful. But in contrast, what we see on social media would be posts of people during their best moments. And on social media, We therefore do not compare ourselves with others on a fair ground. We assess our peers in moments that are deliberately made out of context, and we are therefore putting a humongous disadvantage on the way we see ourselves. And therefore, that is where the benefits of not caring come from. But what does it mean to truly not care? It can easily be as simple as finding something to occupy your time, a new hobby you've been meaning to try. And don't be afraid of spending some time alone, because this can definitely be good for you. This can definitely impact your lifestyle and your mental well-being in a positive way. You can set a time limit on the amount of social media time you allow yourself, and you can practice enduring moments throughout your day without your cell phone. Because when you become someone who is checking social media regularly, your mind becomes over reliant. You become over dependent on social media. And in order for a healthy mindset, you need to strive away from that. And that depends on you and how you decide on managing your time. Learning, you have to learn not just how to make a schedule, but arguably most importantly, to take control of it. Because after all, getting to know yourself, your mental state, and your time schedule is all part of learning how to grow up. And with that as my choice to leave as a final message, I would like to pass on the presentation to the speakers.